Ladies and gentlemen, PhlyDaily here. Welcome back to the channel. I have some very important news for y'all today. We ships now, baby. So today is a good day. Today is a day that I would consider a quality day in the world of War Thunder universe. Now, I think the reason for my blatant optimism this video is that War Thunder's listening. And hats off to everybody who made a forum post, a Reddit post, told somebody else that it wasn't working, to all the YouTubers that made videos concerning about what Naval Forces was and is still currently. The community has won this one. And thankfully, the game that we love is listening to us. And so this statement isn't praise guys and praise War Thunder. They're the best. They've still got a lot of work to do, but I don't know. War Thunder's a stubborn dog sometimes. And it took them a long time to realize that what they had going on isn't working. And so finally today, they released a dev blog talking about ships, or at least the tribal class destroyer for the United Kingdom. And we're going to be talking about that today, but we're also going to be talking about the future of War Thunder Naval Forces, because yes, you have a destroyer in a now ship game, but the whole point of Naval Forces or a navy is that each unit complements the other unit. All right, so let's just back up a little bit and go over the tribal class destroyer and compare it to some of the biggest boats that we have in game right now. Now, when I say this is a bigger vessel, well, it's a ship, but it is bigger. But just to put it in comparison, compared to, let's say, the MZ-1. This is ridiculous, guys. The MZ-1 displaces at heavy load or full load 315 tons. 315 tons. The tribal class destroyer displaces at full load 2,520 tons. This ship is going to be massive compared to these things. And this raises a lot of questions about the maps that have already been designed and implemented into the game, because with a ship this big, you know, will it be able to navigate all portions of the map? Or maybe that might be a little bit of the meta to allow these bigger ships to play on the outskirts and these smaller ships to play in the middle. We'll just have to wait and see of that. Now, some more perspective. The tribal class destroyer is 377 feet long. The MZ-1 is 164. It's fucking big, boys. It's big. So now we're going to be going over the dev blog of the tribal class destroyer, picking out some interesting statements and paragraphs for us to talk about. So first things first, they state, we never excluded the possibility of the introduction of bigger ships in War Thunder, and that's absolutely true. I remember a VOD or a stream when they were showcasing the reveal of Naval Forces is that they said, well, I can't quote it, but they paraphrased. They pretty much said, if you don't like this, let us know. And look at where we're at now. Well done, guys. Well done. Well done. We're very good at telling the game what we want, and hopefully this will start off a trend of maybe bigger things to come, because the next paragraph, or excuse me, the next sentence says, now we bring you destroyers, the workhorses of fleets across the globe. And hopefully maybe in 5 or 6 dev blogs down the line, excuse me, they'll say, now we bring you light cruisers, now we'll bring you heavy cruisers, now we bring you battleships, etc. It's a good day, that's all I'm saying. So continuing on, they say these are the fastest of the bigger vessels in the naval fleet. So we can look at that two ways. One, they're just stating something obvious, that these are the faster ships in a naval fleet, just a generic naval fleet. Or they're stating that these destroyers are going to be the fastest ships in War Thunder compared to when we will receive, if we do, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, or battleships. So now we're going to be focusing more on what the tribal class destroyer was and how it's going to be utilized in the game. So in 1934, the British Royal Navy was aware of the urgent need to develop new destroyers that were heavier and more powerful than the top vessels of the time, or the I class, which already lagged behind the newer ships of Britain's potential enemies. The crews on the new destroyers varied depending on military necessity and ranged from 190 to 300 men at various stages during the Second World War. So that brings up another topic. These destroyers are going to have a buttload more crew than the boats that we see in naval forces right now. But since the dev blog on April 21st about the development of naval forces in War Thunder, that's the title of it, they had a paragraph called Damage System. And from what the paragraph stated, it kind of looks like it's tailored towards bigger ships to make them easier to kill, so you're not playing whack-a-mole with all the crew. I can even read it for you guys here. They state, also, we've decided to distance our naval forces from the logic we used in the ground force battles. That is, a craft is counted as destroyed when you have lost your last crew members. In larger and even huge naval crews, there are numerous issues that were pointed out by our players when you had to find and knock out the very last sailor of the enemy vessel. In our new damage model, when you disable one of the enemy's compartments, you also disable part of the total crew, specifically the crew assigned to this compartment. So let's say, and just for the sake of this discussion, a compartment is the stern of the ship. It might be more complicated than that, but you knock out that component and the crew is taken down with it. So you bring that component to black, all the crew dies in there, so you don't have to sit there and aim your machine guns at 500 meters at this random guy manning a Vickers water-cooled anti-air gun on top of the bridge. So it makes it much more simpler, and it's going to, I think, increase the fun in the game, because you're not going to be sitting there shooting at this ship that really should be dead. You've had 2 or 3 teammates on him, but he still has this one random or 2 or 3 random crew members that are still alive. And it's making you focus all your time on killing this one guy to take him out of the action when his teammates are shooting at you from across the map or on your left side. It's just going to make it more systematic or easier to kill somebody, just kind of like in ground forces. Now we're on to see how this destroyer destroys. The artillery armament on this vessel consisted of 820 millimeter guns in 4 twin mountings, 2 towards the bow and 2 towards the stern of the vessel. The anti-aircraft armament comprised of 1 quadruple 40 millimeter gun mounting, nicknamed the Pom-Pom, and 2 quadruple mounting with large caliber machine guns. Torpedo weaponry was sacrificed in favor of artillery power, and it was a meager single 21-inch 533 millimeter quadruple torpedo tube. So it was on a turret that was able to swivel, and you only had 1 load, or you only had 4 torpedoes. Once those 4 were gone, you could not reload. Nevertheless, the reduced torpedo armament was not mirrored in this vessel's anti-submarine capabilities. Why do they keep mentioning anti-submarine? Like, are we going to get submarines in this game? In addition to the anti-submarine sonar, what are they doing to us? They got to stop hinting at this if it's not going to happen. All tribal class destroyers carried 20 depth charges that could be dropped from a special rack or thrown from mine launchers, aka hedgehogs. War Thunder, you tease. To stop mentioning anti-submarine sonar. How is it going to be used in the game? Maybe it's just because the dev blog, they want to like just showcase what this vessel could do, but it's messing with how it's going to be used in game. Maybe submarines aren't confirmed. I don't know. So that's pretty much it with what the tribal class destroyer has to offer War Thunder. One thing that I want to talk about though is what other bigger ships we can see in game. Now, with this dev blog and reading through this dev blog, I can confidently say that we're going to see light cruisers and heavy cruisers in the game, which is going to be flipping awesome. Battleships, on the other hand, are going to need some tailoring and work to be put into this game. There's a lot of things that need to be taken into account, and I think the 4 biggest things that are holding battleships back right now are top speed, maneuverability, range, and how you aim and fire the guns. I'm going to try to give a solution for each one of these and keep it reasonable and effective. Speed. From my first video talking about naval forces and how it's not working in the game, I mentioned just increase the battleship speed. From the feedback I received from that comment, I've realized that increasing the ship's speed is going to fuck with a lot of War Thunder, because just for the most extreme example, you have a battleship that now goes 150 kilometers an hour. Well, a PO-2 can't catch it. Or a Dauntless dive bomber is going to have a very hard time getting into position to engage him. And then if you increase plane speed, then anti-air is, they're going to be zipping around like crazy. You won't be able to hit them. So if you increase battleship top speed, that's going to mess with a lot of the game. So my solution for this is that lower tier battleships, yes, they do indeed move very slow, but you can put them on smaller maps and speed won't be that big of a problem. Because at high tier, in high tier battleships, I mean, we have a destroyer that goes 36 knots. Well, the Bismarck, other battleships went 30 plus, so it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. So just to sum that up, lower tier ship, less technology, less top speed, put it on a smaller map. Higher tier ship, more technology, better boilers, better horsepower, more top speed, put it on a bigger map. Now on to maneuverability. With this one, in my opinion, we're gonna have to go unhistorical. Because even though you have an Iowa class battleship that can go 33 knots top speed, how long will it take you to slow that puppy down? How long will it take you to stop? How long will it take the ship to do a full 360? How long will it take the rudder to shift? Those things aren't fun. Those things are very slow, and I think battleship maneuverability needs to be increased so you're able to stop within 30 seconds, or maybe rudder shift within 10 seconds. Not ridiculous maneuverability, but gameplay fun maneuverability. And then we have range. And just like maneuverability, it needs to be unhistorical as well, because some of these battleship guns could shoot over 38 kilometers away or 21 nautical miles. And when you have gameplay like that, you're going to push away a ton of players. And honestly, you can't even shoot that far without radar, because at 38 kilometers away, you're shooting over the horizon, or you're shooting at a target that you can't physically see with your eyes. So I'm not saying battleship gameplay should be like fire when you see the white of their eyes. All I'm saying is that it needs to be toned down a little bit to fit the gameplay and make the gameplay fun and enjoyable. And now on to the final point is how you aim and fire the guns. Well, firing's pretty simple, you just click a button. But how you aim needs to be difficult. Because with these big guns, they can kill things very easily. And it should reward you for hitting a target. But the target shouldn't be as simple as using your mouse. I think there needs to be angles introduced into the game for battleships, because if you're able to seriously look at something, click on it, and fire, it's not going to have a learning curve, and it's going to be way too overpowered. With having angles, you're going to have to learn your gun's velocity, trajectory, to become successful. And my ultimate hope, if this mechanic is implemented and if we receive battleships, is that we'll be able to engage different targets at the same time with different guns. Because how World of Warship works is that if you aim at something, all those guns are heading to that location. You can't tell them to stop. You can't tell them to do anything. They're just going to follow that mouse. And to explain gun angles more, if you guys don't know what gun angles are, for an example, a little scenario, you got an enemy ship in the distance. You don't know what he's at. You use your rangefinder. He's at 10 nautical miles away. Okay, 10 nautical miles, awesome. I know if I elevate my guns to 23 degrees, my rounds will hit right inside 10 nautical miles. And that's how gun angles work. So you gotta, again, learn the velocity, the trajectory, make a lot of mistakes, but in the end, it will reward you for learning your guns and learning your ship. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a great day. Peace out.